Discover the incredible truth. My ex-daughter-in-law stole my husband on their wedding day. Martha stood in the middle of her sun-drenched living room, wedding decorations spilling from every corner. She could hardly believe this day, her son Jake's wedding. Every detail, from the twinkling fairy lights to the delicate floral arrangements, spoke to the love she poured into family. The scent of fresh roses filled the air, and Martha felt her heart swell with pride. The town buzzed with excitement, neighbors popping in and out, offering their support and love, just as they always did. But pride quickly turned to disbelief. As Martha beamed, wearing the dress she saved for this moment, she heard the first vows being exchanged. Jake stood tall, love radiating from every fiber of his being, while Emily glowed beside him. Everything felt right until it didn't. The warmth of the day turned frigid as a sea of murmurs rippled through the crowd. In a breathtaking moment, obstructing her vision like a dark cloud, Emily's stunning smile transformed into something like a mask. Not for Jake, but for Tom, her own husband. In that shocking instant, with the sun peering through the clouds, betrayal crashed into Martha's reality. Emily sprinted down the aisle, hand in hand with Tom, leaving Martha gasping, her heart shattering like glass. Screams mingled with gasps, the precious bonds of family torn apart in front of a yearning crowd. The cherished foundation of love, trust, and togetherness broke into pieces, leaving her grappling with raw grief and disbelief. Neighbors shared sympathetic glances, whispers spreading like wildfire. With every casserole dropped off and every warm embrace she received, Martha's heart ached, as if each gesture was a reminder of the reality she couldn't escape. Yet, as the days passed, confusion turned into determination. She needed to uncover the truth behind this sordid affair. What led her husband to betray her, and what secrets did Emily hide? Fueled by a powerful current of resilience, Martha found herself knocking on doors, seeking answers. With every revelation, layers of loneliness and unmet needs unfolded, pulling at her heart. Emily was overwhelmed, battling insecurities that no one truly saw. A realization struck. This wasn't just betrayal, it was the complexity of unfulfilled lives intertwining in a way no one could have imagined. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Emotions clashed within her, pitting judgment against empathy as Martha faced a moral whirlwind. Should she forgive Tom, the man she once loved, or step away from a broken marriage forever? The townspeople sensed her struggle, eyes filled with hope and uncertainty, expectant of the next steps she would take. They had always viewed her as a pillar of strength, and now, more than ever, they waited, their hearts echoing her fear and longing for resolution. In that pivotal moment, with the weight of her community watching, Martha took a deep breath. The gentle breeze whispered promises of change. Would she choose to seek healing through forgiveness, or would she sever all ties, embracing her pain to forge anew? The air thickened with anticipation, a sacred breath of potential for courage or despair. The choice was hers, and the outcome could change everything. Martha woke up the next day to a world muted in shadow. The sun crept through her curtains, casting lines of light that seemed poignant and harsh at the same time. As she lay there, the events of yesterday replayed in her mind like a relentless film loop, and reality felt like a sore wound refusing to heal. Happiness, dreams, and love had all been wrapped in that wedding day, only to be torn apart in an instant. She got dressed and made her way to the kitchen, the familiar space now feeling foreign. Each coffee cup reminded her of joyful mornings with Tom, planning their future, dreaming about their kids. She poured herself a cup, but it lingered there untouched. The doorbell rang, breaking the oppressive silence. It was Mrs. Thompson from next door, her eyes filled with compassion. I just wanted to check on you, dear. Martha forced a smile, but it felt heavy on her face. Thank you, I appreciate it. Mrs. Thompson hesitated before stepping inside. You know, you don't have to go through this alone. We're all here for you. A lump formed in Martha's throat. You saw everything, didn't you? The older woman lowered her gaze, a softness enveloping them both. We did. And it broke our hearts. But you're strong, Martha. You've been a pillar for this community. Now it's your turn. Those words hung in the air, heavy with responsibility and expectation. Martha could either crumble under the weight or rise from the ashes of betrayal. That choice loomed larger than anything she had faced before. As the days passed, she became aware of the increasing murmurs around her. People speculated, pointed fingers, and whispered in low tones. Every glance felt like scrutiny. She kept finding herself at the grocery store too early in the morning, wandering the aisles like a ghost. The vibrant colors of fruits and vegetables seemed dull, and the lively laughter of other shoppers felt like a distant song. One evening, fueled by a burning need for clarity, Martha found herself standing in front of Emily's house. The porch light flickered, revealing silhouettes moving within. Doubt gnawed at her, but steeling herself, she moved toward the door. Just as she was about to knock, the door swung open. Emily stood there, startled. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Martha? What are you doing here?
Can we talk?
Martha's voice trembled, but her determination held firm. Emily's face shifted, emotions flickering like candlelight. I didn't think you would want. I need to understand why. Martha interrupted, a surge of pent-up emotions spilling forth. What on earth led you to do this? With uncertainty written all over her features, Emily stepped back, allowing Martha to enter. Inside, the air was thick, and the walls seemed to bear witness to their unraveling. Please, tell me the truth, Martha said, her voice shaking. Was it him? Did you love him? Tears brimming in Emily's eyes began to flow. I thought I loved him, but it was never real. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I swear. Then what? Was it all a lie? Martha pressed, urgency filling the space between them. Emily hesitated, the weight of her confession palpable in the silence. I was lost. I thought I could find myself through Tom, but I was wrong. We were both wrong. Martha took a deep breath, feeling the sting of betrayal twist anew, but there was something else, an eerily comforting realization about shared pain. It felt like taking a step toward understanding, even forgiveness. Just then, a knock interrupted them. The door swung open once more, revealing Tom. The very air thickened as Martha's heart raced, caught between a longing for resolution and an ache from unresolved love. Emily, we need to talk, Tom said, his face pale, his voice heavy with desperation. Martha's pulse quickened. What awaited them in this fragile moment of confrontation? Would it shatter all hope, or lead to unexpected healing? She stood, frozen, as her next choice loomed ominously before her. Would she finally reclaim her power, or stand by as the tangled threads of their lives tightened further? Martha's breath caught in her throat as she watched Tom step inside, his presence instantly shifting the atmosphere. There he stood, the man she once adored, now the embodiment of betrayal. She was torn between an urge to confront him and a deeper, almost instinctual desire to flee. Instead, she chose to stay, anchored by the shared pain in the room.
Why now?
Emily whispered, looking frail and weary. You didn't even care enough to call before. Tom shook his head, frustration etching lines on his forehead. I was scared. I thought if I let you go, I could fix everything. But I was wrong. His voice cracked, and for a moment, Martha saw the wounded soul she had fallen in love with. But the image quickly morphed back into the man who shattered her dreams. What were you thinking? Martha's voice wavered, but she pushed through.
How could you do this to me?
To us? Tom stepped toward her, his hands reaching out like a plea for mercy. Martha, please, I know I messed up. I never wanted to hurt you. I was lost in my own confusion. But I've realized what? Martha scoffed, the sharpness of her words surprising even herself. That lying in bed with my best friend was a mistake? Or that you're actually capable of love after all? The silence that followed felt deafening. Emily's eyes swelled with unshed tears, while Tom's expression reflected shame. It was all too much. The weight of their trespasses hung like a suffocating fog around them. I didn't mean to. I thought it was going to be real.
But it's not, Martha.
It never was. Emily finally spoke up, her voice trembling as she reached for Martha's hand. I'm so sorry that I hurt you. Martha pulled her hand away, the betrayal still fresh. I can't forgive you right now, she said, her voice breaking. You were supposed to be family. Tom's face paled as if her words struck him like a physical blow. He dropped his gaze, seeming smaller, wounded. I want you to know that I love you, Martha. I always have. I let myself get lost. A wave of emotions crashed over her. Watching the man she had envisioned a future with unravel like this felt surreal. She had fought to maintain her dignity, yet here she was, caught in a twisted web of hurt and longing, yearning for things to go back to normal. You think love can just fix this? Martha replied, her voice hoarse. You shattered everything. These aren't just words trying to make things better. The atmosphere shifted. All three of them were trapped in a cycle of remorse, anger, and an overwhelming sense of loss. It was a dance of despair set against a backdrop of broken trust. Then, almost instinctively, Tom took a step forward, his face earnest. I'm willing to fight for us for the life we talked about.
Please, just let me try.
Martha's heart raced. Could she even consider taking him back? The hurt was still too raw, too exposed. Did love really matter when it was laced with betrayal? Words swirled in her mind, battling for dominance, but in the moment of confrontation, everything froze. There's so much to sort through, Emily added, her voice shaking slightly. All three of us. It's going to take time, and is that even possible? Martha cut her off, her eyes narrowing. Can we ever go back? Tom and Emily stood in silence, as the weight of real consequences hung heavy in the air. This moment felt monumental. It was the crossroads that could either lead to a shaky path toward healing or plunge them further into despair. With that, Martha pressed her palms against her temples, overwhelmed by the swirling thoughts. She wanted clarity, a beacon to guide her through the darkness. Could they rebuild something from this wreckage? Or was it time to walk away for good? As the tension stretched, the reality of their shared history loomed overwhelming and unforgiving. The question remained, who would emerge from these tangled emotions unbroken? Would she find the courage to choose her own path, no matter the outcome? The air crackled with uncertainty, and for Martha, it was a moment of truth hanging in the balance. Martha clutched her trembling hands together, her heart pounding in her chest like a frantic drum. She could feel each thud echoing in the silence that enveloped them, a chilling reminder of all that had been lost. The room held a tense stillness, where even the softest whisper of a thought seemed too loud. Tom's eyes held hers, desperation etched in his features like a deeply carved stone. Just tell me you don't want this to be over, he pleaded, stepping closer but not quite daring to reach for her. It was as if they were separated by an invisible wall, thick with all the unsaid words and hurt that piled like layers on both sides. For a moment, Martha felt her resolve waver. The memories flooded in, their laughter on lazy summer days, their dreams that painted the future in vibrant colors. But then, the image of Emily's hurtful betrayal overshadowed sweet whispers of the past, turning her heart heavy once more. I want to trust you, she finally spoke, her voice small yet fierce. But trust is a fragile thing, and you've shattered it into pieces. Emily, still holding onto the fragile thread of hope, stepped forward. We can figure this out, Martha. We're family, and she paused, her eyes darting to Tom, before adding, we can work through this together. Family? Martha's voice rose slightly, defiance giving way to a raw vulnerability. You were supposed to be my sister. We've shared everything, and you threw it all away. Tom's shoulders slumped, and Martha wondered if he felt the weight of her words pressing on his chest as heavily as she did. I know, he said softly. I wish I had a better answer.
But I want to make this right.
I want to be the man you thought I was. Do you even know who you are anymore? Martha shot back, her frustration flaring. You keep saying you love me, but how far does that go when you've buried it under betrayal? The tension felt like a thick fog wrapping around them, desperately needing to lift yet refusing to budge. The emotional tug of war waged within her, pulling her toward memories while pushing her away from the raw truth that lingered painfully in the air. Tom glanced at Emily, longing tinged with sorrow in his gaze. You both mean the world to me, and I messed up. But I want to build something new. I'll do whatever it takes.
New?
Martha laughed, but there was no joy in it. How do you build over a crack that runs deep? This isn't a broken vase you can just glue back together. There is so much rubble here, Tom. We're not just broken, we're shattered. A flicker of realization crossed Tom's face. Maybe we need to accept that we won't be the same anymore. But even shattered pieces can become something else, something stronger. You think it's that easy? She challenged, shaking her head. The anger surged within her, fighting with the sadness that clung tightly. I can't just erase the hurt because you say you want to fix things. Martha felt exhaustion creep in mental, physical, and emotional. Every conversation, every confrontation felt like climbing a steep mountain, the peak almost obscured by doubt and pain. Suddenly, the door creaked open, revealing her mother, who ventured in cautiously. Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt, she started, clearly sensing the charged atmosphere. No, stay, Martha whispered, her voice a mix of defeat and resolve. I think I need you here. Her mother walked in, a picture of calm amidst the storm. Sometimes, facing hard truths is the only way to heal. But you have to be brave enough to look in the mirror. Martha searched her mother's face, hoping for guidance that would cut through the chaos.
But how?
Maybe the answer lies in the honesty we're hiding from each other, her mother suggested, and Martha felt a tiny flicker of hope. As silence returned, the question hovered over their heads like an unspoken cloud. Could honesty mend the pieces? Should she dare look deeper into the mess of love and betrayal? Only time would tell, but as Martha stared at Tom and Emily, grappling with their shattered trust, she wondered, was the real fight just beginning? Martha's mind raced like a whirlwind, each thought spiraling faster than the last. Her mother's gentle presence felt anchoring, but the chaos inside her was relentless. How do you find honesty when feeling so deceived? The weight of those unanswered questions pressed down heavily, suffocating the tiny flickers of hope she had fought to keep alive. Tom's eyes shifted, darting between her and Emily, searching for a lifeline that didn't exist. He began, his voice barely above a whisper. Just give me a chance. One chance to show you I can change. We can change. Change? Her voice was barely a whisper, laden with disbelief. You think we can just flip a switch? Transform into something else overnight? She could feel the hurt bubbling back to the surface, each word poking her wounds. Emily stepped in again, her voice shaky but firm. Martha, you won't have to face this alone. You have family who love you. Let us help you. We can take small steps together. Small steps? Martha echoed bitterly. How do you even begin to walk forward when the ground under you feels like quicksand? The air seemed to thicken, and the silence that followed felt sacred and stifling all at once. Tom took a breath, visibly struggling to steady himself. We have to start somewhere, even if it's just being honest about where we are. Martha gazed into his eyes, searching for sincerity. She remembered the way he looked at her when they first met, the glimmer of hope full of possibility and love. But could she trust that glimmer now? Do we even know what honesty looks like in this moment? Martha murmured, more to herself than anyone else, but the question hung in the air, echoing. Her mother's hand gently rested on her shoulder. It might not look like what you expect, but it can still be there. Sometimes it wears a different face, Martha. What does that even mean? Martha shot back, frustration spilling over. There's a kind of honesty wrapped in vulnerability, her mother said softly. It's about showing up, even when it hurts.
Even when you don't want to.
If you can let the truth out your fears, you might find a path toward healing. Martha's chest tightened as the reality of those words settled in. Could she actually open up the fractures inside of her? Would it allow for healing, or just result in more pain? Tom sighed, the weight of their shared deceptions hanging heavily between them. I'm ready to listen. Truly listen. No defenses.
Just you.
Ready to listen? Martha's anger flared sharply again. You keep saying that, but where were your ears when you crossed the line? Another pause settled over them, and in that silence, she was struck with an idea. What if they stripped this all away, the hurt, the betrayal, all of it, and just spoke what was truly in their hearts? Martha took a deep breath and felt her chest constrict further. What do you really want, Tom? What does your heart say? He looked down, his brow furrowed in thought. I want us to be honest about everything. And I want to do whatever it takes to earn back your trust, even if that means starting from scratch. Her heart softened at his honesty, and she surprised herself by wishing she could believe him. Maybe he was right. Maybe moving forward started with an honest discussion. A true reckoning of where they stood. With her heart pounding, she finally spoke, her voice steadier this time. The truth is, I'm terrified of losing everything, but I don't know if I can do this. Tom leaned closer, his expression earnest. Even if you feel broken right now, I promise you there is strength in your scars. You can build from this. As she looked into his eyes, a spark flickered. Just maybe, they could rebuild something, despite the rubble. But Martha knew the path would not be easy. Will you stay through the mess? She asked softly, uncertainty creeping into her voice. That's the only way I want it, Tom replied, determination lighting up his features. As they stood on the precipice of uncertainty, the heaviness shifted, replaced by a glimmer of something new. Could they truly find a way? Martha's heart raced at the prospect as she looked at her mother, then back to Tom and Emily. Was there still time for healing, or were they standing on the edge of a deeper chasm? The air felt charged, thick with potential. Would their next step lead them down a brighter path, or would it drag them deeper into despair? The answer whispered just out of reach, but one thing was clear: they wouldn't know until they took that leap. Could they navigate the turbulent waters together and rediscover the love they once shared? Only time would uncover the truth ahead. Martha's heart felt heavy in her chest, the weight of uncertainty pressing down like a storm cloud ready to burst. She glanced at her mother, who had always been the rock in her life, and then back at Tom, whose earnestness somehow made her want to believe again. Okay, she finally said, her voice a fragile blend of determination and hesitation. Let us talk. But this has to be real, no lies, no hiding. Tom nodded, a flicker of relief crossing his face. I promise. Just please start wherever you feel comfortable. As she gathered her thoughts, the words her mother had spoken earlier danced in her mind. Vulnerability. It sounded simple, yet terrifying. She was scared of what might spill from her mouth, but she had to try. When I found out about what happened, it felt like my entire world shattered. I didn't just lose trust in you, Tom. I lost trust in myself for not seeing it sooner. Tom's gaze dropped, shadows flickering across his features. I can't change the past, Martha. But I'm here, ready to face whatever pain I've caused. I need you to know that, truly. A wave of anger surged inside her, along with an unexpected hint of sadness. You keep saying you're ready, but it feels like it's just words. Can you understand how that feels? To know someone you love can betray you so deeply? Yes, I understand, he implored, desperation coloring his tone. I know I hurt you like no one else could, and that's what kills me. I don't have any excuses. All I can do is let you in on my process, my mistakes. I've been working on myself since that day for you, for me. I just wish you could see that. Martha inhaled deeply, wrestling with conflicting emotions. The hurt still simmered beneath the surface, but was now mixed with something else, a hint of curiosity about his journey. Fine. Then tell me, she said, what are you doing to change? What have you learned? He looked up, surprise evident in his eyes. I've been going to therapy. It's made me confront a lot of things about myself that I've avoided. It's not easy, And there are days I want to quit because it's uncomfortable and painful. But I realize now I can't just take the easy way out anymore. Martha studied him, her heart conflicted. The man sitting before her wasn't just the one who betrayed her. There was depth and a faint glimmer of hope hidden in his vulnerability. Therapy doesn't fix everything overnight, she finally said. And it sure as hell doesn't erase all the hurt you've caused. I get it, he replied, leaning forward with urgency. But I don't expect forgiveness just like that. I want to show you I can earn it back. But I also need to understand your pain. I can't do this without knowing how much I've really affected you. Silence fell over them again. Martha hesitated, her mind racing, twisting thoughts about what to reveal. Would this journey together offer them a chance to heal? Or would it deepen the chasm that pain had carved? Fine, let us start with the basics, she said finally, steeling herself. Why did you do it? Was there something I wasn't giving you? Tom ran a hand through his hair, frustration flickering across his features.
No.
It wasn't you, it was me. I thought I could manage it. I thought it would never get this far. Tears stung Martha's eyes, anger welling up again.
Manage it?
Manage what? Your desire to betray the woman who stood by you? His eyes held a plea.
No.
I'm so sorry. I didn't understand the stakes. I'm still figuring out what it all means. Figuring it out? She burst out. This isn't a game. I was building my life around the idea of trust with you.
The future we talked about.
You ripped it down. She choked on her words, the tears spilling over. Emily moved closer, her expression pained but supportive. Martha, it's okay to feel like this. Let it out. This is part of healing. Martha nodded, wiping her cheeks with trembling fingers. She was raw, stripped bare in ways she never anticipated. Everything felt monumental, and there was no going back now. Tom's eyes softened as he reached for her. I'm so sorry for causing you this pain. I will keep showing you through my actions if you let me. The moment hung heavy, the air thick with possibilities. Could this conversation be the first step towards healing, or just another painful chapter in their tangled story? A blend of anger and reluctant hope thrummed through her. Could she truly envision a new beginning? Or was she doomed to watch the flames of trust burn out once more? They were standing at a crucial juncture, but the path ahead remained uncertain and fraught with both peril and possibility. Would they be able to navigate the wreckage together or become casualties of their past? The clock was ticking, and Martha could feel the urgency of their decision pressing in. Before anything else could be said, a loud knock echoed off the door, shaking them out of their fragile moment. Who could it be now? Would it bring clarity, or would it create yet more chaos? The knock shattered the stillness like glass breaking, pulling Martha from her spiraling thoughts. Tom's eyes darted toward the door, worry etched on his face. Martha, maybe it's just someone at the wrong house, he suggested, but his voice held an edge of uncertainty. She could see it in his shifting posture, that slight lean forward he took as if ready to spring into action. Whoever it is, they're not going away, she muttered, her throat tight. The urgency in the air was palpable, as if the universe was sending them a sign. With quick, shaky steps, she approached the door, her heart racing. She paused, taking a moment to steady herself before twisting the knob and pulling the door open. Standing there was a woman she had never seen before. Tall and striking, with a fierce look in her eyes, the stranger took a step back as Martha stood rooted, her pulse quickening. Martha? The woman questioned, her voice a blend of authority and dread. Martha felt her stomach knot. Yes. Can I help you? I'm Jenna. I'm sorry to intrude. I need to speak with Tom. Her gaze flicked behind Martha, and the intensity in her eyes shifted to something else, fear. Perhaps? Tom isn't. Martha started but was cut off as Tom appeared at her side, his expression darkening.
Jenna?
What are you doing here? The tension thickened, a silence settling over them like a heavy fog. Martha's heart raced, a sense of dread gnawing at her insides. What reason could Jenna have for showing up unannounced? I know this isn't the best time, Jenna replied, her voice wavering slightly. But I need to talk to you. It's about everything. She seemed to wrestle with her words, the gravity of the moment weighing on her. Tom shook his head, taking a step closer to Martha as if to shield her from whatever Jenna was going to reveal. What do you mean, everything? I can't say it all here, she insisted, glancing over her shoulder as if fearing someone might overhear. Can we go somewhere private? Martha felt a rush of panic. Every instinct in her screamed to keep Jenna at bay, to protect the fragile moment she had just begun to rebuild with Tom. What's this about? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside her. Jenna looked between them, her expression softening as if she recognized the heaviness in the air. You both deserve to know the truth. It's important. Tom's voice grew firm, a shield around Martha. If it's about the past, you don't need to drag us down that road again. But Jenna waved her hands in frustration. No, this goes beyond what happened before. You both need to hear this for your future. Each word felt like a weight, hanging in the air like a storm cloud. Martha's mind raced with possibilities, each one darker than the last. Was Jenna a friend? An enemy? What could she possibly know that would change everything? What truth? Tom pressed, a hint of desperation creeping into his voice. Jenna inhaled deeply, as if steeling herself for a plunge into the unknown. I know what really happened the day you got married, Tom. And I think you deserve to hear it before it's too late. Martha felt her heart drop, an icy wave washing over her. The certainty she thought she had only moments before felt like quicksand now. It was slipping away. Before what's too late? Tom shot back. Jenna's eyes locked on Martha, filled with a strange blend of sympathy and urgency. Before you lose the chance to truly understand your relationship, what it's built on. The walls of the room seemed to close in, and Martha's breath caught in her throat. What could Jenna possibly reveal that would turn their world upside down once again? The truth suddenly felt like a knife's edge, sharp and unyielding. Would it stitch together the pieces of their broken love, or would it lay them bare, exposing their wounds as never before? As they stood in the doorway, the air thick with unsaid words, Martha's heart thundered against her ribs. This was not just a conversation anymore. It was a reckoning, a moment that could define not just their past, but their future. Go on, Jenna, Martha urged, her voice trembling with hesitant hope. Tell us what you know. What would follow could shatter everything they were trying to rebuild. Would truth be their savior, or would it bring about their undoing? The question hung heavily, a dark promise of revelations waiting to unfold. Jenna inhaled sharply, and for a moment, Martha thought she might turn and run. Instead, she swallowed hard and stepped into the space between them, closing the door slowly behind her as if sealing off the world outside. The weight of her presence felt colossal, like an avalanche poised to crush everything in its path. I shouldn't be here, Jenna said, her voice trembling. But I can't keep this from you any longer. Martha's stomach twisted into knots, a sharp grating dread mixing with curiosity. What kind of truth could Jenna hold that was so devastating? Tom's hand brushed against Martha's, a small gesture meant to anchor them both. But it felt more like a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters. Just tell us, Tom urged, his eyes narrowed, his tone quickening. Jenna nodded, her lips pressing into a thin line. A few years ago, I was close to someone who was part of your lives without you knowing. I wasn't supposed to say anything, but I can't keep lying to myself. Martha felt lightheaded, barely able to grasp what Jenna was saying. What do you mean? Who? It's about your wedding day. Jenna's voice cracked, and she tore her gaze away, as if the truth was too much to bear. I was dating Mike. Mike. The name echoed inside Martha's head, loud and invasive. He was Tom's friend, the one person she had trusted, and the one she never wanted to think about again. Mike? Tom's eyes widened, confusion mingling with rage. What does he have to do with this? On the day of your wedding, he was there. Jenna's voice was pained, and Martha could see the anguish etched across her face. He told me something that you both need to hear, something he never meant for you to learn. The room felt like it was spinning. Martha's heart raced, and she gripped Tom's hand harder, wanting his strength as panic bubbled under her skin. What did he say? Before the ceremony, he was conflicted. He learned something about your family, Tom. About the truth of why you were getting married. What truth? Tom's voice was sharp, cutting through the room's heavy atmosphere. You're not making sense. I found out he was paid to keep quiet. Your family. Jenna's eyes flickered away, as if she was about to let out a damning secret. They wanted you to marry Martha. They wanted you to have a perfectly happy life. But Mike, he didn't think you really wanted it. The weight of Jenna's words landed between them like a leaden stone. It wasn't just Jenna's revelation that left Martha trembling, it was the shadowed memory of that day. All the joy, the laughter mixed with a veiled tension of something unspoken. Tom shook his head, his confusion battling his anger. Why didn't he tell me? Because he cared about you both. He didn't want to ruin your life. But when he saw how miserable your marriage made you, he couldn't keep quiet any longer. Martha, he thought you deserved more than this. Martha's chest tightened. The realization, heavy and thick, was choking. More than this, but how could he have known? How could he decide our fate? I don't know. Jenna shot back, desperation coloring her voice. I don't know. All I know is that everything was a lie, and it's tearing me apart. I just thought you deserved to hear the truth before it destroyed you. A silence fell, thick and suffocating. Each heartbeat felt like a drum pounding in Martha's ears. She turned to Tom, searching his face, which held shock but also a flicker of something else, an acceptance of a reality they never asked for. What do we do now? He murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. The question hung in the air, heavy with potential, swirling as uncertainty filled their small living room. Martha stared at Jenna, and then back at Tom, watching the pieces of their lives shift imperceptibly beneath their feet. Could they recover from this? Was there even anything left worth salvaging? As the tension built between them, it felt like the tipping point had arrived. I need to know how far this goes, Tom said suddenly, igniting a spark of determination in his eyes. Whatever happened, whatever truths are buried, I want to understand, and I want to make sure it doesn't ruin us. Martha nodded slowly, tears brimming at the corners of her eyes. Then we figure this out together. But deep down, a chilling question lingered. Would facing the truth bring them closer, or would it tear them apart forever? Martha swallowed hard. What happens next, Jenna? Are you ready to tell us everything? And just like that, the path ahead beckoned, uncharted yet glaringly real. Would the revelations clarify their bond, or would they expose frailty? Jenna took a deep breath, her chest rising and falling with a mix of anxiety and resolve. The atmosphere was electric, charged with secrets and years of unspoken words. There's so much more, and I don't even know where to begin, she said, her voice sounding fragile yet determined. Martha's heart pounded, anticipation clawing at her insides. Just start at the beginning, she urged, squeezing Tom's hand as if it could hold back the torrent of emotions threatening to spill over. Okay, Jenna nodded, her eyes flitting between Martha and Tom, stealing glances, absorbing the moment. I fell in love with Mike during a time when he was questioning everything. He would often talk about the pressure from his family, about what they wanted from him. Especially around the time of your wedding. Martha felt a pang of sympathy for Mike, even as a tide of anger rose within her. But why didn't he just tell us? Why hide this? Because, Jenna continued, her voice steadier now, he felt trapped. Your family had expectations. They planted the idea in his head that marrying you, Martha, was the noble thing to do. The right thing. But in his heart he struggled. He knew you were both drifting, and he wanted you to have a clear chance at happiness. Tom's jaw clenched, and Martha saw the hurt flooding his expression. What do you mean, drifting? On the outside, you seemed perfect, but he heard you both argue. The night before the wedding he was with me, and he was so conflicted. He didn't want to betray you or your family, but he had a feeling deep down that you were not meant to be each other's forever. She looked directly at Tom, as if trying to express the gravity of her words. He loved you, Tom. But he loved me too. The confession hung in the air like a storm cloud ready to burst. Tom inhaled sharply, and Martha felt the warmth of his body radiate confusion and conflict. This can't be real," he stammered. "What was I supposed to do with that? I was in love with Martha. I married her." "Exactly," Jenna replied softly, her gaze unwavering. "But how often do we truly know what we want? How can we decide when there are so many voices, family, friends, you name it, pressuring us?" "Voices," Martha whispered, reeling from the sudden clarity. The memories of that day began to flood back, the smiles, the joy, but also the shadows of unease that lay just beneath the surface. "There's something else," Jenna added, her voice quivering slightly. "I overheard something after the wedding. A conversation between Mike and someone from your family. They spoke about how, regardless of how he felt, he had to keep quiet for the sake of your family's reputation." "Reputation?" Tom echoed, disbelief coating his words. "They sacrificed everything for a facade?" Jenna nodded, her expression a mixture of sadness and anger. "That's why I finally came here. I can't just stand by and let this truth eat away at you. I know it's painful, but you both deserve to know who you really are to each other and within yourselves." Martha's heart ached, the conflict a living thing inside her. How is it possible that all this time, she chose to ignore the signs, push them away, hoping for a picture-perfect life? Tom turned to her, searching her face for something, but Martha wasn't sure what she could offer. "What do we do now? What does it mean for us?" Jenna's eyes filled with compassion as she observed them. "You have to decide who you are and what you want going forward. A choice must be made. The truth will always out, and it can either destroy you, or maybe, just maybe, it could set you free." The room felt thick with possibility, the future looming uncertainly ahead like a path through dense fog, neither of them knowing if it would lead to light or darkness. "Are we too far gone?" Martha asked, fear creeping into her voice. But before they could dive deeper, a loud knock interrupted them, reverberating through the walls like thunder. It jolted them all from their thoughts, the unexpected sound echoing with urgency.
Who could that be?
Tom murmured, darting a quick glance at Jenna before standing up, his expression a mix of dread and curiosity, and just like that, the tension thickened. One door might be closing, but another was about to open. What awaited them on the other side? Martha felt the energy in the room shift dramatically, hanging heavy as Tom moved to the door. She braced herself, a sense of foreboding settling deep within her. Who could be interrupting at such a delicate moment? The knock was insistent, jarring the fragile peace they were trying to forge. Tom opened the door slowly, revealing a man both familiar and shocking, Jake, her son. He stood there, breathless and wide-eyed, clutching an envelope that seemed to tremble in his hands.
"Mom,"
he gasped, as if he had been running. "You need to see this. It's urgent." Martha felt her heart race. She took a step forward, urgency thrumming through her. "Jake, what is going on?" He glanced past her, taking in the strange scene with Tom and Jenna before stepping inside.
"Just look at this."
He thrust the envelope into Martha's hands, his brow furrowed with concern. With shaking fingers, she opened it, revealing a collection of documents, divorce papers, finalized court orders, and at the bottom, unmistakable family reflections that struck a nerve. "Wedding receipts? What is this?" she murmured. But as she read further, the world around her blurred. This can't be real." Jake swallowed hard. "It details hidden accounts, money that was set aside by Grandma for your future, much of it linked to pressures about appearances." "Mom, it's not just about you and Tom anymore, it's bigger than that." Martha's heart thundered as Jenna shifted closer, merging their experience into this newfound reality. "Hidden accounts? What do you mean?" Jake took a deep breath. "I found out Grandma sought out a way to protect her legacy. She didn't want anyone to know she was ashamed of things that happened before. But now we have to face it as a family. We can either bury it or confront it."
"Confront?"
Tom echoed, a mix of disbelief and determination crossing his face. The fragility of their moment crashed like waves against rocks. "This only complicates everything further. We're already dealing with so much pain and betrayal, Martha managed, anger and confusion intertwining. Mom, we can't run from this. Jake insisted, his voice rising with passion. This is the kind of truth that can set us free. What if the past isn't what we turned it into? What if all our lives were about expectations and silent agreements? Martha looked at Tom. Could this broken family stand together and reshape their narrative? Awash with conflicting emotions, she searched the faces around her. I'm tired of secrets, Jenna added softly, the weight of her own truths surfacing. Let us face this. Not just for you, but for all of us. You deserve to find healing without resentment tearing you apart. Jake nodded vehemently. And I'm here to support whatever you all decide. We can heal, together, but we need to pull our courage and stand united. We have to challenge everything we've been told. Martha paused, her heart trembling as she gazed at her son. She had wrapped him in shadows for too long, the burden of expectations like a heavy quilt. You're right, Jake. We need to decide who we want to be, not who we've been told we should be. She turned to Tom, who was visibly grappling with the reality of all that lay before them. Are you willing to walk this path with me? She asked, the implication of his previous betrayal hanging in the air and in this moment a test of his commitment to redemption. Tom swallowed hard, his expression softening. I've failed you and hurt you in ways I can't take back, but I'll take whatever chance I can to understand who we can become. The knot in Martha's stomach began to unwind, unraveling the anger turning fragile ties into shards. Trust wasn't entirely lost. Perhaps it was buried, waiting for the gentlest encouragement to breathe life again. As they stood together, she felt a flicker of something warm begin to grow, an ember of hope. Let us face the truth together, she whispered, her voice gaining momentum. No matter how painful it is, I want us to emerge better. If our love can withstand the storm, maybe we really can rebuild something authentic. The shadows of their lives had loomed, threatening and wild, but now, in solidarity, they ripped away the darkness in search of healing. As they stood at that crossroads, Martha's heart surged. They had the chance at a new beginning, even if it meant uncovering secrets and embracing their demons. As the warmth of the moment enveloped them, Jake's expression shifted into a radiant smile. This will be worth it, Mom. I promise. The world outside was bright, hopeful in its promise. This was the moment where fragile hearts beat in unison, ready to reclaim their truth. And from that moment on, with shattered pieces finally aglow in hope's embrace, they pledged to navigate this journey together, armored now by honesty, connection, and love. Now, dear viewers, this is your pivotal moment. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you to face your own truths. Leave a like right now to help feed the algorithm that brings you these powerful transformations. Comment below how you felt about the ending. Your reactions mean the world, and remember, don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this monumental journey of healing. Together, we can build a community anchored in love and resilience.